The Beast in the Closet. Daryl Cole hadn't slept in weeks. Not real sleep. Not the kind where you close your eyes and wake up feeling refreshed. His nights were spent trapped in a hellish cycle. A prisoner in his own body. Forced to endure the same horror again and again. It started 3 months ago. Every night at exactly 3 a.m., the closet door in his bedroom would tremble. A low, guttural sound would emanate from behind it. Something deep. Something ancient. Something wrong. The first time it happened, he had bolted upright in bed, convinced it was an intruder. But by the time he grabbed his phone and turned on the light, the closet was still. Silent. Then the second night came, and the third, and every night after, and it just got worse. Now, Darren knew what was behind that door. He knew what was waiting for him. But there was nothing he could do, because it had made sure of that. The night it truly began, Darren had been staring at the closet for hours. Heart pounding, sweat rolling down his temples. He had tried moving to the couch, but that hadn't worked. Wherever he was, at exactly 3 a.m., the closet would begin to tremble, as if something on the other side was waking up. That night, he swore he wouldn't run. He would face whatever it was. And then, the portal opened. A deep, unnatural light bled from the cracks around the closet door. A sickly glow, shifting like a liquid mirage. The wood groaned as the door was pushed outward, just a fraction, and from the darkness within, it emerged. It didn't step out completely. No, it never did that. It didn't need to. Its presence alone filled the room with unbearable dread. The first thing Darren saw were its eyes. Sunken, abysmal pits of swirling darkness, rimmed with an eerie red glow. They didn't blink, didn't shift. They held him there, locking onto him like chains wrapping around his soul. Then came the voice. It didn't speak in words. It spoke in something older than language, something woven into the fabric of nightmares. It seeped into his skull, a relentless whisper burrowing into his mind, hissing, murmuring, promising. And then, he couldn't move. It was like his whole body had turned to stone. His limbs refused to obey. His lips wouldn't part to scream. His heart pounded erratically, but his body was no longer his own. The beast had him, and so the torment began. A night with no end. Every night, it was the same. Darren would lie awake, praying for it not to happen. But when 3 a.m. came, he would feel it. The pull. His muscles would lock up. His vision would blur. And his breath would catch in his throat as the closet would creak open and the beast would come through the portal. Some nights, it would watch him. It would crouch in the doorway, those soulless eyes fixed on him, its long, gnarled fingers twitching, tapping against the wood. The air would thicken, his lungs would burn, and a terrible weight would settle on his chest. It was suffocating. Other nights, it would come closer. It would crawl towards the bed, each movement impossibly slow, deliberate, savoring his helplessness. It would hover over him, inches away, its breath like rotting leaves and scorched metal. Though it never touched him, not directly. But it didn't need to. It would speak to him, whisper horrors directly into his mind. It would show him visions, worlds consumed by darkness, landscapes made of screaming faces, skies choked with writhing things that should not exist, and worst of all, it laughed. Not a normal laugh. A sound that cracked and splintered reality, something that no human could ever produce. Darren wanted to scream, he wanted to run, but all he could do was lie there, trapped in his own body, as the beast stole another piece of his sanity. The descent into madness, days blurred together. Darren stopped going to work, stopped answering calls, stopped eating. The world outside his apartment became meaningless. None of it mattered, because no matter what he did, no matter how hard he fought it, the beast would return. The worst part was, it wasn't just the nights anymore. The whispers had started creeping into his days. He would see its eyes in reflection, hear its distorted voice in the hum of electrical appliances, feel its presence lurking just outside his vision. He thought about telling someone, a friend, a doctor, anyone. But who would believe him? And even if they did, what could they do? Then one night, everything changed. The portal opened as always, the closet door creaking outward. But this time, it stepped through. For the first time in 3 months, Darren saw the full shape of the beast. It was impossible. Its form was fluid, yet rigid, shifting, yet solid. Its limbs were elongated, joints bending in ways that defied nature. Its skin was a mass of shadows, constantly shifting as if 1,000 hands were reaching out from within its body. It loomed over him, its head tilting, studying him like a mad scientist observing an insect. Then, for the first time, it spoke words that Darren could understand. "You are ready." Darren's chest seized, his mind screamed, "Ready? Ready for what?" But before he could think another thought, the beast lunged. The pain was like anything he had ever known. His body twisted, stretched, pulled through the portal. He wasn't in his bedroom anymore. He wasn't anywhere anymore. He was falling through time, through space, through something far, far worse. The last thing he saw before everything collapsed into the darkness was the beast standing at the threshold of his world, looking down at him with those endless eyes, its voice curling around him. "Welcome home." Darren Cole's apartment was found abandoned a week later. The landlord had called the police after complaints from neighbors, but no one had really seen him in days, and strange noises had been heard at night. His place was in disarray. Food rotted on the counter, the bed was unmade, the closet door was open, but inside, it was pitch black, as if light refused to touch it. There was only one sign of Darren left behind. A single phrase scratched into the wood floor beside the bed. "Don't look in the closet at 3 a.m. Shortly after, the next tenant moved in, and on their first night, at exactly 3 a.m., the closet door creaked open.